That's where they put the guy down and they drop a big blade and what? Cut the head off.
I forgot about that.
Okay, yeah, the guillotine. And they put, during the French Revolution, the people turned on the Catholic Church. So they put a lot of the priests and things, their clergy, they put them under the blade because France was a Catholic country. They made an assault against Christianity during the French Revolution. And so then you had other movements. You had the Nietzsche. Nietzsche was a German philosopher. And this guy, mashallah, Allah Ta'ala humiliated him. He went nuts, he went crazy. And they found him in the street and he was hugging a horse and he was mumbling to the horse. This was a guy, وَيَذُ بِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى, it's very famous about him that he said, and this is absolute kufr, he said, God is dead. وَيَذُ بِاللَّهِ. And this was a something that he spread. And a lot, see if you're in college and you guys who are getting ready to go to college, even if you don't take these social studies, social sciences courses, this is the undercurrent of the culture on the college campuses. Even if you're doing engineering or you're doing pre-med or something like that, the basis, the intellectual basis of these subjects that you're studying from studying these courses in general from people who are coming from that worldview. So Nietzsche is very, very popular. And he himself recognized if we don't believe in a God, then life basically, they're what they call nihilism. Nihilism is the idea that life has no purpose. That you were just here, as Dawkins, didn't Dawkins just say basically life has no what? Purpose. So you were here, and basically you're here to try to kind of gratify your desires, but eventually you're going to die. There's no afterlife. You're just here doing your thing. And you see this in the culture now. Don't you see these people with tattoos all over their bodies and piercings all over their face? And many of them, if you were to talk to them, they would tell you life has no purpose. No, this is how they don't really. This is how they don't believe life has any purpose. They do whatever types of drugs. They drink alcohol. They make zina with whatever, whether it's human or non-human. To them, life has no meaning. Yes, brother.
Didn't the French Revolution start when they didn't have food and then the queen said eat cake or something?
I heard that's fake, false. The saying no, not like that. It's very commonly said, but I heard that later. But that's the start of it. But what kept driving it, Ahmed, is that they kept breaking up into different groups and killing this group and that group and that group. And one of the main groups was the church because it was seen as part of the old regime, the old rulership with the kings. That's why they killed so many of their own people. Yes, brother.
Wasn't it because
so many of the clergy? Yes, yeah.
Wasn't it because one of the people, one of these tribes or something, wanted to take someone's land?
I don't know about that. Okay, let's bring it up to couple of more points about the background. Also, Nietzsche died around 1900. After 1900, what was a big event in European history?
After 1900?
World War I?
World War I. Okay? And what happened during World War I, these Europeans are seeing who they really are. Because this is a time when they were doing a lot of colonization. They felt they're people of what? Hubris. Very what? Proud. Very proud. Thinking, we have the greatest civilization. We are so awesome. We are so wonderful. Everyone should be like us. And then during World War I, World War I was a brutal war. And it was fought mostly in Europe. Although last night we talked about some of the fighting with the Arab rebellion against the Ottomans. But in general, most of the fighting in World War I was in Europe. And it was trench warfare. Very, very brutal warfare. So by the end of the war, they're seeing that, we're really not all that. Even if they're too proud to admit it. And then you see this massive millions and millions of people killed in a war that they had never seen a war like this before. So this is doing what? It's showing that their culture is not all that. And they were killing each other in the name of what? Nationalism. And then after World War I, then the big war, which was what? World War II. Killed multiple tens of millions of people. And what was part of what was behind that? The ideology of Nazism, which was saying that there's a master race. But wasn't that the belief of all the Europeans? Wasn't it? Yeah. The only thing different with Hitler, as opposed to the rest of the Europeans, is that Hitler said that among the Europeans, we are the master race of you. Because what they did, what the Nazis did to the other Europeans weren't they doing it to the brown and black and yellow people all over the earth? Yeah. So after the World War II, these people and the pride that they have when they really look at their culture, is it something to be proud of?
No.
Even by their standard. You're talking about Europe was what? Wrecked. Cities bombed to the ground. Like you saw like what they did in Gaza, right? What multiple cities bombed to the ground, flattened, wrecked. So this also leads, I mean, if these people are seeing themselves like this, and many of them, because they don't understand the issues of the creed, many of them, they will say, how could God let this happen? You see? Of course, we know Allah Ta'ala is the creator of everything. He does whatever He wills. That's it. But they're looking, and because they don't understand the right belief, because in reality, their goal is not to submit to God. Their goal is to be, as they say, have their freedom and their pride. So their goal is not like, okay, I need to submit to God. I need to find out what I need to do to obey God. This is not their agenda. So when they look at their civilization, and they are at the pinnacle, as they say, of their civilization, and it caused this massive destruction, what do you think is going to happen with the attitude of the masses of those people? Are they going to feel like my life and our culture really has a meaning and purpose? No. And then lastly, regarding the history, is what's happened very recently, what has contributed significantly to atheism, which is what? Not the games, but the what? The internet. Why has the internet contributed significantly to atheism? Talking about for the Western Europeans.
It could be quickly to control the internet and spread their ideas.
Okay, but when a Christian, if with the internet, don't you find all kinds of sites where they argue against Christianity?
Yeah.
And the Christian, he doesn't have what? They'll destroy it. The atheist will destroy the Christian. They'll destroy them. They show them the history of the Bible. It's been altered. They show them their doctrine. It's been what? Changed. They show the history of what the Christians have done in the name of Christianity. So then they look at this and it's done. And then they come with what? Science. It's done. And the young guys might, and you see so many people say, oh, I was a Christian, many of the atheists. I was a Christian, and then when I went to high school and I studied biology, or I went to college and I took philosophy 101, and then he left what? Christianity. And also what's related to that with the internet culture is following your what? Your desires, right? Following your nafs. And Christianity, in general, does it tell you just do whatever you want to do? No. It teaches you certain what? Morality. Now, do they have detailed sharia like we have? No. But they teach you certain things. Like, for example, you shouldn't have boyfriend, girlfriend. Shouldn't fornicate. Certainly shouldn't fornicate. This is common. But now with the internet saying, oh, well, you are free and you can do whatever you want and you can do what you want. Your parents don't even know. And but if this person is holding on to Christianity and he's thinking, oh, well, my religion teaches me I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that, I shouldn't do this, but I want to be free. What do you think he's going to usually choose?
Free.
He wants to be quote unquote, when I say free, I mean quote unquote free. Because even when they do those sins, does it make the person free?
No.
It really makes them more of a slave. It makes them trapped. That's the right word. Okay, so this is the background. Now let's talk briefly about our belief. Because historically we did not have this issue. But now the Europeans are imposing their culture on us. And what did the Prophet say, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He told us a time will come when the Muslim would follow the kuffar like the lizard, like when the lizard runs into the hole. You see, so just what? Blindly follow them. And the companion said, and who are you talking about? And he told them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is a summary of it, I don't have to remember exactly, that these are the Christians and the Jews. Now the Christians today are really like post-Christian, but they're still coming out of that Christian what? Legacy, out of that Christian heritage. And today, don't you see the Muslims? Who are they imitating? Are they imitating the people of classical Chinese civilization?
No.
Are they imitating the people of the Central African pagan culture?
No.
Are they imitating the people, the Native Americans?
No.
Who are they imitating? The Westerns.
Westerns.
Yeah, the Westerns. Okay? Like the Prophet told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, would happen. So now atheism, you will find it in the Muslim communities, meaning people who claim to be Muslim or from Muslim backgrounds. You see atheism growing. Why is it growing? One, how many of the Muslims do you meet, young Muslims, and they learn the matters of Tawheed and the science of Kalam, Ilm al-Kalam? Not many. Really not many. That's one. And then two, a lot of young people, because they're not growing up being learning to be socially critical, they say, why do I need to follow all these rules? Why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he lived a long time ago, different society, different civilization. Why do I need to do this? How is this relevant to living in America or living in Canada or living in the UK in 2016?
The Christians would say the same thing. Like when you debate with them, like the modern day Christians, are based off like their Bibles and stuff like that. They would say, "Oh, there's old laws, there's old rules and stuff like that."
But who do they say? What did Jesus follow, even according to them?
The Torah.
Yes, there you, mashallah. So a lot of young Muslims, they are getting lured into atheism because they're blindly following the way of the Western people. So this is a big issue for us. And again, a lot of the youth, they don't learn the science, like how to debate and defend the religion. Using as Sheikh Abdul Jalil mentioned, using the rational proofs. A lot of Muslims say, well, my Quran says, the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Indeed, this is great, but if you're talking with an atheist who is hostile to the whole idea of revelation, he's hostile to this, and you're quoting something he does not believe in, he'll end up attacking the Quran. And this person who's already ignorant, do you think he's going to be able to defend the Quran when this atheist starts to attack the Quran? No. You don't have to go that way. You go with the rational. You go with the rational proofs. Because this guy, he's claiming to be a reasonable, intelligent person. So you use the what? You use the rational proofs. You speak the same language. Of course, we don't, not with the same words, but speak the same language. So for us, let's mention now our belief. That we believe, of course, in one Creator. Allah Ta'ala revealed, وَإِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ. That your God is one God. That Allah Ta'ala is one. That there's only one Creator. That Allah Ta'ala is beginningless. That everything other than the Creator is originated. That Allah Ta'ala is omnipotent, meaning Allah knows everything, has power over everything. That Allah Ta'ala knows everything. And Allah is the Creator of everything. And does not need or resemble anything. This is our belief. Very simple. And it fits with your what? With your mind. Fits with your mind. And in our religion, Iman, usually translated as what? Faith, is not divorced from reason. We don't say, well, I have my faith over here and I have my reason, my logic over here. We say that they are what? Integrated. Okay? If the true belief fits with the mind. And with that, the scholars, they mentioned about the rational proofs, the rational judgments, let's say. How many rational judgments did the scholars mention? How many? Didn't ask you what they are. This is so important. This is really, this part of the creed, in my opinion, is one of the most important topics to understand, to protect oneself from the atheists and to refute them. How many rational judgments are there? Yes?
I think it's 3.
3. And the one is the rational necessity. And the rational necessity, it refers to Allah Ta'ala, the Creator, and the Creator's attributes. That the rational necessity, by definition, it is the one whose existence the sound mind says must be. The mind, the reason, says that there must be a Creator. Okay, well, the atheists, of course, they don't believe in that. They don't believe in a Creator. So, how do we prove that there is a Creator? Because that point itself, they don't accept. So you have to talk to them in a language that they what? They understand, or at least claim to understand. Because they really, their objective is not to say, oh, you're right, I need to submit to God. This is not their objective, but at least you can expose them and show that they're not what? Sincere. Okay, how do we establish that there is a Creator? What is the elementary proof that there is a Creator? Yes, Ahmed.
The creation.
The creations. This is an elementary proof. Now, the atheists say, oh yeah, you're right, now I believe in the creator. No, he's not going to say that. But what do we mean? That the creations are the proof for the existence of the creator. Yes, Lady Dana.
Every building needs a builder.
Every building needs a builder. Like we said, you come here, you don't assume that this place, this dwelling, this center, this markaz that we are at, that you don't say, well, maybe it assembled itself. Anybody, do these atheists, would they assume that? They come here and you say, oh, yeah, if we had a fancy building. Say, oh, they might ask you, when was this what? Built. And if somebody says, oh no, it wasn't built, it made itself. Are they going to accept this? They won't accept the building, which is not that complex of an entity. They don't accept the building to have made itself, but they accept what?
The world made itself.
They say the world made itself. Okay, so regarding these people, the atheists, regarding people account for the world, the universe, they can only say one of what? Three things. One of the things that they can say, we just said it. Which is what? They say, you say, they say.
They say the world made itself.
They say the world made itself. That's one thing. And rationally, how do we demonstrate that this statement, to claim that the universe or something, a thing, whether the universe or anything else, made itself? How do we discredit that? Not you, Saeed. How do we discredit the claim that the universe made itself? Why is this statement problematic? Logically, why is it problematic? Yes, brother. What's that? A thing must be to do. What does that mean? A thing must be to do. Yes?
A thing must exist for it to change.
A thing must exist in order to act. Something that doesn't exist, can it act? Can it do something?
No.
No. So the non-existent, it does not exist. Can it produce itself?
No.
No. Furthermore, to say that something created itself, they are saying that it was originated before it was existing, because it had to exist in order to what? To make. So they're saying it was originated before it was existing, and after it was existing, it was then originated. This is stupid. It's stupid. No, really. But these are the people who claim to be the most intelligent people on earth now. These atheists. What you have to do now. So we established one position is to claim that the universe created itself, and this is invalid. Batil. What's the second position that people may claim, which is also blasphemy? You say, okay, no, it didn't create itself. It what? They claim. They say.
So they
say it always existed.
It always existed. And also, we're using their language, okay? We're not using Quran right now. We're talking in what? Their language. Because they claim to value the what? The intellect. How do you know that the universe could not have always existed? It leads to the problem of what's called an infinite regression. What does that mean, an infinite regression? Yes?
When they regret something?
No, regression.
Oh.
It's the belief, if someone says, like if we have a timeline here, of course, we know it has to have a beginning. We know that. But if somebody says, well, this is the present, and then there was an literally, it's not real, it cannot be. They claim that there's an infinite number of, if you wish, days. An infinite number of amount of time before the present. They won't give you day, but an infinite number of amount of time before the present. It would not be possible to cross what? Infinity to reach what? The present. Because once they reach the present, then this would be the what? The end. Yeah, the stop. The end of everything that came before. It's the limit. So they're saying, well, it has no end, it has no limit, but it has a limit, which is itself a what? Or end, which is a what? Contradiction. And another nice proof the scholars they mentioned. We'll use the word day, okay? We'll use the word day for the sake of argument, but they'll argue over about the issue of day. Okay, what day of creation is it?
We don't know.
We don't know. But what can you tell me for sure about this day of creation?
There were lots of
It's either even.
It's either an odd day of creation or what?
Even.
Even day of creation. What day of the week is it? If you just woke up, you woke up one day, you were sick for a while, very sick. Or you were in a coma, may Allah ta'ala, let's say a person, he was in a coma. And he woke up, he looked out the window of the hospital, he saw it was sunny. Does he know, he doesn't know how long he's been in the coma. But what does he know about that day? It's either an odd day of the week or what? Can it be both?
No.
Can it be neither?
No.
It has to be one or the other. He doesn't know which one, but it's one day. It's either an odd day of the week if you want to start from Sunday, or it's what? An even day. That's what he knows. So this day of creation, do we know what day of creation it is? No. But what do we know? For day, we're using day, whatever unit of time they accept. Okay, I'm just using day to make it easier for the young people. That whatever day of creation it is, what can you say about this day of creation? It's either an odd day of creation or what? Even. Okay. If according to them it has no beginning, then it would have no what? It would neither be an odd day of creation nor would it be an even day of creation. And we know that that's totally what?
False.
This is totally false. Yeah. Okay. So we mentioned that we posited things can't create themselves, and we said that the universe cannot be beginningless. So it has to have a what? It has to have a start. And it couldn't have started itself, so something other than itself started it. And as Muslims, we say that this is God, the Creator, Allah Ta'ala. And we say the one who created this universe would have certain attributes. Like the 13 attributes we learned, like what? That there will be one God. How do we know that there's one God? Because if there were two or three or a multitude of so-called gods, then they would be in what? Conflict with each other. Okay, we know that God has no beginning, because anything that would have a beginning would be dependent on the one who started it, who created it, originated it. That we know that God would have power, because this universe, the one who controls and maintains the universe, would have to have power. You look, isn't it orderly? Isn't this world orderly? Yes. Okay, so the one who controls this has to have power, would have to have knowledge, would have to have will to specify things to be this way as opposed to another way. Yes, brother.
There are multiple
So-called
gods. Well, at least one of their ways wouldn't go. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be sometimes.
Exactly. Now another thing that they try to get around, which is like a subset of the claiming the universe created itself. What's another argument that they make, which is a subset of claiming the universe created itself? It's not quite the same, but it's basically the same. They believe it happened by chance, by accident. They say about 13 billion years ago, which nobody here has witnessed, nor have any of them, okay? They say that there was what? A giant cosmic explosion. And that this giant cosmic explosion, as a result of it, it led to an orderly universe. Not only an orderly universe, but even life and consciousness. And it happened all by itself, according to them. And you know, here I have it. We can do the famous paper bag test. What is the chance? We'll mention it and then we'll do it, inshallah. If I have 15 cards here. If I put 10 of these cards in order, 1 through 10, and we shake it up, they're already shuffled up. We shake it up. What's the chance of taking out number 1 first?
1 in 10%.
1 in 10. And then number 2?
1 in 10. 2, well, yeah, 1 in 10.
1 in 9.
1 in 9. And then number 3?
1
1 in 8.
1 in 8, and so on. The chance of getting all of them in order is 1 in 3.6 million. Okay? And if we add 5 more cards, who remembers other than, I know you know, Ahmed, because you hear it a lot. What's the chance?
Around 3 billion.
The number is 1,307,674,368,000. That's just what? These 15 cards coming out in what? In order. So the atheists will tell you there's no way you did this 3 out of 5 times. You say, oh, I was practicing, working on it without cheating. I did 3 out of 5 times I did this. He will say that can't happen statistically. He'll say that this cannot happen statistically. But then what does he say about the universe?
They claim that it happened by itself.
It happened by itself. Do you see, really, The atheistic ideology is stupid. No, it's stupid. No, even if they pretend to act like they're intelligent, really their ideology is what? No, it's stupid. Because, and what's driving it? It's what? The H word I mentioned earlier.
Human knowledge.
Hubris. It's that pride. It's not intellect. It's not really that they care about the truth and logic and reason. It's the issue of pride. Because if they recognize that there's a creator, then what follows logically after that?
They submit.
Yeah, that I have a creator. That means I have a what? An owner. That I'm not free, meaning to do whatever I want to do. That I have someone owns me, meaning the creator owns me, and that I should obey the one who created me. And really, if the person is sincere, they would want to what? To worship and revere the one who created. Isn't that really, I mean, if a person says, well, there's a creator, well, then that creator deserves to be loved. But this atheist, do you think he wants to love God?
Nope.
No.
So, okay, I put the cards in 1 through 15, and everybody can do it 3 times. If you get number 1 first, raise your hand. So, shake it up before you try. If you get number 1 first, raise your hand, and then we'll see what if he gets the next one, inshallah. Yes, yeah.
Oh, you know the thing you're talking about when there was an explosion and stuff? This thing is...
They claim that you tried 3 times.
What's it called? In science class, they refer it as to the Big Bang.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, the cosmic explosion.
Hold on.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Don't get too carried away with the cards, guys. Let me have your attention, please. That we've mentioned the rational necessity. We say that there has to be a creator because of the, well, we know because of the what? The creation tells us that there has to be a creator. And we know, because we mentioned the creation could not what? Create itself. It could not be beginningless. So it needs something other than itself to make it. And the one who made it would have certain attributes. So that's why we say by the necessity to the mind, there must be one God. Okay, so now that's the rational necessity. Then there's the rational impossibility. What does the rational impossibility mean? Yes, Lady Dana.
It's not possible for your mind to like reach there.
Don't quite say it like that. Don't say it quite like that. The mind says that this thing does not at all have the potential to exist. The mind says that this thing cannot possibly exist. We're not talking about, well, is it far-fetched or it's beyond what I'm familiar with. We're saying that it does not have the potential to exist. Because, Dana, if, for example, the statement itself is an absurd statement. It's an illogical statement. Like, what's an example of an illogical and absurd statement? Yes?
The daughter giving birth to his mother.
The daughter giving birth to her own mother. Why is this? Why do we say that this is a logical absurdity? Yes?
Because the mother is the one that gave birth to the daughter.
Yeah, the daughter can't possibly be older than the one who gave birth to her. Okay? So this is, the statement itself is a contradiction. So that's why we say, by this structure of the language and the meanings of the words, this statement is irrational. What's another example we mentioned of the rational impossibility? Yes? A square, this is impossibility, a rational impossibility. A square that is a circle. What's the definition of a circle? It's a shape that has the same distance from the center all the way around. And a square is a shape with what? 4 equal lengths with 90-degree angles, right? Parallelogram? Yeah. So that's the square. Do those two definitions, do they meet? No, these 2 definitions do not meet. So such a thing, a square circle cannot exist. It is a rational what? Impossibility. And then the third classification of the rational judgments is what? The rational, we mentioned the rational necessity, the rational impossibility. Yes? The rational possibility. What is the rational possibility? It is that which the mind accepts its potential existence. Did we say it's an actuality? No, not necessarily. But the mind says that this thing could what? Exist. Could you have a purple and green polka dotted hippopotamus? Does the mind accept that this exists? All right, we have number 1. All right, hold it out. Okay, now grab number 2. Yeah, grab number 2. So everybody's gone here with like 3 times, so already probably had like 20 tries. And one person got, which is about right? 1 out of what? 15, right?
It was like we didn't mix it up that good because I got 12 twice and I got 4 once and he got 4.
Okay, well hold on. Shake it, shake it. You have to hold the end. No.
Shake it.
Go get a plastic bag if there's a plastic bag on it. Because that way you can get more space. Okay, Yalla, let's continue. Yeah. Pay attention. So the rational possibility, what did we say it is? It is something which the mind, what? Accepts its potential existence. Did we say it's a reality, necessarily? No, but the mind says that the mind accepts this thing might what? Exist. Like what? A purple and green, we said? Polka dotted hippopotamus. Does the mind say that this could exist?
Yes.
Absolutely, it could exist. But we would say it probably doesn't exist. Okay, why do we say it probably doesn't exist? We've never, in what is recorded as far as I know, that we've never seen a purple and green polka dotted hippopotamus. Okay? But the mind says, that, can you imagine a purple and green polka dotted hippopotamus? Yeah, I can imagine it. But so there's a difference between saying it's actual and it's possible. Okay. Now, one of the issues when we talk about the rational possibility, I like to add the statement that we said it is that which the mind accepts its potential existence. And I add something here to make it clear. And this includes...
They got it.
And this includes... And this includes...
No.
Customary and uncustomary.
It includes the customary and the uncustomary. Okay, brother, who you got a number 1? Grab number 2 then.
Here, let me show you.
That's enough.
All right, come on. Okay, all right, let's continue. All right, listen. So we say that the rationally possible, it includes what? The customary and the uncustomary. Why do we mention this in relation in particular with the materialist, the atheist/materialist? Why do we mention this? What do the atheists deny categorically? Yes, Ahmed?
They say that they haven't seen it or experienced it. It's impossible.
Not only that, yeah, that's true. And they'll say the belief in the miracles is something irrational. The belief in the miracles is not something what? Irrational. What's irrational? A square that's a what? Circle. What's irrational is believing that the creator of the universe was born to a woman. This is something that's what? Irrational. Because the creator has no need. The creator is not of size, shape, or form. To say that the creator became a person is to say that the person became the creator, meaning he became eternal. Isn't the creator beginningless? So to say that God became an infant is saying that that which has a beginning became beginningless, which is something you know is what? That's irrational. Believing that someone could walk on water, is this irrational? No, it's just contrary to the